right? Most of us have probably never really known hunger. We might get little hunger pains here or there, but that's relative to our own lifestyle. Okay, but relative to the world, we probably have never really known hunger. Implications, what's implication? When something implies something, yeah.
Oh, sorry, no,
Okay, yeah?
Requires.
It means what is suggested. So something that's suggested or what something means. Okay, so if I lay down and put my head down, I'm implying that I'm very tired. I'm suggesting that I'm very tired. Okay? Income, what's income? Okay, the amount of money you receive from a job, for example, from working. Poverty, what's poverty? Being very poor. How about disparity? Yeah? Okay, a big difference between two things, right? A difference between. And wealth. Okay, having a lot of money or valuables. It's not always money, but it could be that. Let's take a look at what our objective is from this assignment today, and you guys can fill in the blank. And I know it's much more comfortable there, but I don't actually need access to this. You don't want me stepping on you. So just stay in character. I know it's painful for your backs, but it's a good experience. All right, so today, my learning objective, today my learning objective is to use mathematics, to better understand, so to use mathematics or use math, to better understand the universal income disparity. Income disparity. Universal income disparity. Think about what that means when you put those three words together.
The difference between incomes throughout the world.
Exactly. So the difference between the very rich and the very poor. That's a fancy way of saying the difference between wealth and poverty. To become aware of hunger around the world. To use critical thinking skills. To use critical thinking skills. So this is the part where you're going to really be kind of analyzing and criticizing how things work in our world. To analyze data and to develop an action plan. So this goes back to what Colombo was saying. She said, why stop here? We need to do something about this to help world hunger. Okay? Any questions? Oh. Okay, everybody got it? Because I'm going to erase it. Okay, so let's take a look. I'm going to give you some statistics, and you guys are going to do some calculations. So here's the data. I told you guys before, high income group, you represent what percentage of the world? 15% of the world's population. And you make $9,076 per year or more. Okay? You make $9,076 a year or more. So in this class, we want to see that if our class represents the world, how many of us would be low-income group? Now, when I made my numbers, I based it off our full class. We have 2 people absent today, so I based my numbers off of 19 people, but we're actually 17 today. So just by looking around, that's not necessarily going to be a very accurate description or depiction. So you're going to actually calculate. So if there are 17 students here today in the class, and we represent the world's population, then how many students belong in the high income group? How can you figure that out? Setting up a proportion. So go ahead and set up a proportion and solve for the number of students that would be in the high income group. Please do that now. Yeah. So you're gonna get decimals, and so we need to just round. Obviously, there's no decimal of a person. So you're gonna round, and it's gonna kind of be a tricky situation how you're gonna round. If you decide to round up, because it's over 0.5, then you just have to make sure in the end, when you count up how many students there are, you need to make sure it still adds up to 17 students. So if you're gonna round up here, then someone else you're gonna have to round up. Okay? So it's a judgment call. All right, guys, how did we set up our proportions here? Yeah, Samantha?
15 over 100.
Uh-huh.
And then x over 17.
Excellent. And when you cross multiply, what did you guys get for x?
2.55.
2.55. So we're not really sure, should we round up or not, because it has to add up to 17. Now in this case, if you'd like, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt to have more people in the high income group. We can go ahead and round up there. Okay.
I'm not here.
Hi. Yay. Thanks. Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at the middle income group. The middle income group,
25.
thank you. So middle income, remembers they're 25% of the world's population. And you make between $912 a year and $9,075 a year. Okay? So again, if there are 17 students in the class, please calculate how many should be in the middle income group. Bless you. And check your work with the neighbor. See if you guys got the same thing. So how do we set up this proportion?
25 over
Say it again.
25 over
Thank you. Equals?
x over 17,
Okay. And what'd you get for x?
4.25
4.25. So should we round up or down?
down.
Probably round down here. So again, it's a little inaccurate because there are 2 people who didn't show up today, so I actually just subtracted from the low income group, but instead of recalculating, to give you guys more people the benefits. Okay, questions? Last one, low income group. Do you guys remember what percentage of the world you are? 60%. You are 60% of the world's population, and you make less than 900 and, oops, that's not a 9. $911 a year. Which means $2.50 a day or less. And again, if there are 17 students in the class, please figure out how many students should be in the low income group if we represented the world. And what do we get? 10.2? Okay. 17. Should we round up or down? Down. So let's make sure if we said 10, we said, how many did we say?
4
and
4 and 3. Does that add up?
Yeah.
Great. Perfect. So Okay, so if we were to redo this, then one person from middle income would come down to low income. All right, guys, what I would like you to do is taking a look at what you, the information you have, the data you have. You'll notice I created a grid for you at the bottom. I want you, in your own way, to graphically represent the information. So it's up to you if you want to do a bar graph, if you want to do whatever, a line graph, it's up to you how you want to do it. You just need a logical way of representing that information in the graph, and I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to do that. So please represent it however you think would be most logical, and please label your axes. I want to see how you can interpret this data and create a graphical representation. Go ahead. 2 minutes. Yes.
Since there's no like definite amount of money, because it's always like 9,000 or more or
Right.
less, can we just like do it like for the high income just 9,000, for the middle like 900?
Well, you can show it as a range. So you can say, let me see how you're decided to do it. Once you're done drawing your graph, I'd like you to share how you decided to graph it with someone next to you. And when you're looking at someone else's graph, tell them if it makes sense or not. If it doesn't make sense, please let them know. Sorry. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so you're doing, okay, income per year. And then here's going to be the number of people, or percent, or what?
You know, so we here have the class and here's the income.
Okay. Okay, so you can do, for example, if this is 0, then if the low income makes less than 911, then at some point could be somewhere close to 900 or 1,000, and then you can go right a little bit under that and shade down, because that means from 0 to 911. And then when you're doing middle income, you can show in this range, whatever it is, and then whatever for high income can be from 9,000, whatever, and above. Okay? You do want to show it as a range. So it's up to you how you want to represent it graphically, as long as you include some of that information and that it makes sense. Okay, one final minute to finish your graph. And once you're done with your graph, you can go ahead and turn to the next page and read those questions. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to answer those. Okay, so you should be finished with your graph at this point. Please go ahead and turn the page, and please go ahead and read those questions. Let's see what those questions are, and then you guys will have just a couple minutes to answer them. If you didn't finish your graph, or if you don't finish these questions during class, then that's part of your finishing your homework, where it says complete handout and write-up. So everything from this packet should be done for next class. Okay, so your question. Now we're going to look at the analysis and implications. What does this data suggest? Okay, first question. What do you notice by looking at your graph, and what are the implications of the data? What do you notice by looking at your graph, and what are the implications of the data? Next question. Do you think this is fair? Why or why not? Number 7, question 7. Why do you think there's such a big gap between wealth and poverty? And number 8, how can math help us better understand world hunger? And finally, the last question in this section is the action plan. What can you do? What can you personally do to help solve world hunger? Can you? And if so, what? I'm going to just give you about 3 minutes to start brainstorming the answers to these questions. Now again, part of your homework tonight is to complete this write-up. So I want you to just start brainstorming. I'll give you 3 minutes now in class. And then you're going to finish that part on your own and we're going to move on. Okay, so 3 minutes. One more minute.
So there's no names? No. So how do I find out who are the youngest?
You just
They should know.
They should know.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell her. All right, thanks, Tisha. All right, guys, so I know that you didn't have enough time to do the reflection. That's part of your homework for tonight, is to kind of let everything that we did today sink in and to reflect on it. I just wanted to give you some time to get started. But I want to go down to that last question which says action plan. How many of you honestly feel like there is something that you can do in this world to help out? I just want to see a raise of hand. Who thinks that they have the power to do something. Okay? And now, who thinks, look, miss, I really just can't do anything? Raise your hand if you really just feel like, honestly, that there's not a whole lot you can do. You also kind of feel that way.
But we have, the thing is, we have so much time, like, that is consumed through education.
Okay, but maybe not at this exact moment, but throughout the rest of your life. Do you think you might have an opportunity to do something? Yeah?
Right now, I feel like we can make like changes in a smaller scale. Maybe later we can make bigger changes.
Okay, so poco a poco, step by step, right? It doesn't all have to be everything, you're changing the world all today. So I want to show you a couple examples of how young people can make a difference in this world. And you don't have to wait until you're way older to do it. And so I just want to kind of get some ideas flowing. So here's something called, how many of you have heard of freerice.com? Okay, some of you have heard of it. So take a look at how this company has made a difference.
It's a long way from a classroom in Rome, Italy, to a refugee camp on the Burmese-Bangladesh border. But thanks to award-winning online vocab game Free Rice, Bangladesh, Myanmar and many of the world's poorest countries are just a click away for pupils of Rome's Ambrit International School. Each time a Free Rice player clicks on a correct word, 20 grains of rice are donated to the World Food Programme to combat world hunger. That might not sound like much, but since its October launch in 2007, 500,000 people have been clicking on the game every day.
You're improving yourself and you're going to help the people who are poor and who can't eat. So I think it's a really good game.
To date, they've raised enough rice to feed 700,000 people, including 27,000 refugees from Myanmar sheltering in Bangladesh. WFP's efforts to feed refugees sheltering at 2 camps near Cox's Bazar in southeast Bangladesh is among the first operation to receive food rations thanks to Free Rice.
It's just an amazing concept that somebody thousands of miles away can be at their computer at home in America or in Europe. A click of their mouse means that rice ends up here on the ground in Bangladesh, and it means that these people here who are pretty much a forgotten population because of this can eat today and has this rice to have for the breakfast, lunch and dinner.
Uganda and Cambodia will be the next to benefit. US computer programmer John Breen, who has long worked to reduce global poverty, is the brains behind Free Rice.
You're given a choice of 4 vocabulary definitions for a word. If you choose...
So you kind of get the idea of what freerice.com is about. And at this point, take a look. I wanted to stop on him because he was the computer programmer who created this program. Now, a lot of computer programmers create amazing programs that are very lucrative. Do you think he makes a lot of money by launching freerice.com? Probably not. But he had a higher purpose. He wanted to use his skills and his profession to do something that's going to change the world. And so you guys are at the age where soon enough, you're going to be picking your professions. You are going to be entering the work field, the workforce. And you need to start thinking of, what am I in this for? Do I want to develop these skills to become the richest man or woman ever? Because that's possible. And you are all very bright and you can do that with your brains. Or is there something where you want to make your stamp on this world by helping other people out using your brains? So I want to encourage you that as you're thinking about what you want to do in the future, to always keep that as something in mind of what is my goal with the profession that I choose. And hopefully that will help you out a little bit. We have 2 quick comments, and then I have something else to show you. Yeah.
No, I wanted to ask, like, who pays for that rice?
Okay, that's a great question. So the World Health Organization is sponsoring it, so that because it's also helping education out, I think they have some sort of agreement. So there are plenty of very rich people or rich organizations out there. You have to just find the right organization or the right people to sponsor your activity, and the money is there. Do you know what I mean? So it is being funded from the World Health Organization. Same question, okay. So with that, I want to show you one more video to kind of get your mind thinking. So I wanted to show you this video to show you the power of the internet. And we are all in the internet age in this generation. And so you have a lot of resources at hand. So I want to just wrap up by letting you guys know what you'll be having for next class. So if you guys take a look, I would like you to please make sure you finish up this page. And then the page after that are just some facts. So you can just go ahead and read through those facts to kind of learn more about some world hunger things. And then this next page after that, where it says, if the world were a village of 100 people, we're going to do that next class. So bring that back for next class. And then finally, this is the whole point of our discussion today, with coming up with an idea that could change the world. So on the previous page where it says, what could you do, where it says action plan, what can we do to help solve world hunger? That's specifically about world hunger. And that's just a small space for you to just start brainstorming. On the back page, I want you to think of any issue in the world, anything you feel strongly about. Maybe it's about gay rights. Maybe it's about sexism. Maybe it's about whatever. You name it, pollution. You pick an issue and you come up with a feasible solution. What could you do? What maybe in the future, if you're planning to be a doctor, how could you use your skills to help create